live.
All right. Hello, everyone. Here we are, 12 hours in advance or 12 hours behind, depending on how you look at it. We had timed ourselves for 6:30 p.m. or
That's
7:30 for
right.
me, but it's 8:30 or 7:30 a.m., pardon me, for me, and 6:30. Either way, here we are live. Your true
6:30. Yeah.
heart's desire.
We are live. Yes, yes. So sorry, everyone. It's 12 hours early. That was my fault. Your true heart's desire, Lorenzo. I'll let you take it away.
Okay, so what is it that you want that you're missing in life? True heart's desire is going to be different for other people. Hey man, hey bros, hey Chris, it's going to be different for everyone, and it means, in my opinion, not a romantic true heart's desire, although it could be, and not that you wish for a box of chocolates, although it could be that, or a better house, better health, what have you, but more like what is it that your heart's been asking for since you were little boy or little girl, 3, 4, 1 year old, maybe when you were born, that is something you've been yearning for, looking for, desiring for deeply, achingly, painfully, let's say, when you're 40, 50, 60, which is what most people are that are here, and you've missed it. And maybe you don't even have the words for it yet. You only have a feeling, a gut, something that's telling you there's something you can taste, something you can feel out in the ether, something you can feel just around the corner, something you hear when you get up in the morning and then disappears, as you start thinking too much in the day, and yet it's real and you can make it real for yourself. And that is why I would say we call it our true heart's desire, to find your path home, because on this walk home, which to me home is your heart, I would say, and I'm not trying to be new age or gushy. What I feel by that is when you get to the middle, to the core, to the underlying cause of your life and your love, you feel like you're home, and thus following your heart's desires, you can get there. There you go. How's
Mm,
that?
yes, good. And hello, everyone. Chris, Rachel, Nick, Luminal Mind, Girl from Mars, Piff. Is that how I say that? Piff? Pife?
I love
Hello,
Mars.
and welcome. Rachel says she wants to be a lion tamer. But this is the thing, when we were children, we all had these, these desires, these things that we wanted to be. And you watch a child and they, if they want to be a fairy, they are the fairy. They're not acting like they're a fairy. They become the fairy, right? And they live in that world. And then, of course, they send us to school and, the first thing they attack is our imagination. Leave your imaginary friend at the door, come in and learn spelling. So, what is it that we've lost? Because it's interesting, isn't it, that, we're all going through this thing called life. We all sort of hit adulthood and everyone, like everyone I meet has got some desire, something they want to do, something they want to be, but they haven't quite got there and they're not quite sure how to get there because, in my perspective, it's educated out of us, right? It's programmed out of us. It's like you go to school and literally it's like everything is physical. This is a house, this is a dog, this is a donkey. If we can't see it and measure it, it doesn't exist. And that's the imagination, right? That's the magic that they're killing right there. If you don't see it, it's not there. Where this isn't the way that this place works, in my opinion, is it's the magic that makes things magic, right? It's everything is created twice, first in our mind, and then we manifest it in reality, right? So everything's got to do with these thoughts, these wants, these wishes that we have, and we seem to come into the world with them. There's this theory that everyone's here for a reason, everyone's got a job to do, kind of thing. Some of us on a mission, and I think that's true. I'm not sure if I believe that there's a sect of people that are down here to save the world. I think we're all here to save ourselves, and when we do that, we save the world together, right? So that's kind of what we wanted to talk about today. What is your true heart's desire? What is it that you want to do or wanted to do that you're trying to, rediscover in yourself? And the biggest question is, why aren't you there yet? So let us
Well,
know in the chat. What is it
well,
you
I'm going to
wanted
take
to be?
I'm going to take this one step further and maybe disagree a little bit with Campbell in that I think what you want in your heart's desire comes in your imagination first, and then you put it in your mind. I don't think it starts in your mind in creative process. I think it comes from somewhere else. This is my understanding of it. And then when we put it in our mind, that's where it gets blocked, because it's in our mind that we have all our rules, all our beliefs, all our history, all our memories, whether they're real or not, all the TV shows. So this inspiration of what you want to do comes in, and then it hits your guts or your intuition or your middle, as I've shared before in an old video. When you asked old Japanese people where they thought, they always pointed to their center. They never pointed to their head. They pointed to their hara, their guts, their other brain. Women think with their wombs, and I'm not trying to be rude here, but some of them do. So I feel this imagination, because I do believe we're energy first, comes from somewhere. Maybe it's your double, your soul, if you like. Let's say it comes from your soul, and then it comes in, and then you want to do it. But your mind, like Rachel, someone made a comment at the beginning. She wants to do what we're doing, but she's too shy and weird. There's nobody that's been more shy or weird than me. I can assure you. You can ask my wife. So really, she still doesn't believe me when I tell her I'm a very shy guy. I just do things, and I don't care anymore what people think about me. But what I'm getting at is, I feel we get this inspiration to do something, and then it's our mind that's schooled, or has it schooled out of us, and why it blocks us. So I would say, to find your true heart's desire, maybe see what's coming in first, and then find out what's stopping you from doing it. And let's take some questions, as Cambell and I want to do. And Rachel, maybe join us for our course. We're going to go through this 10 weeks, November 23rd, starting in North America. It's exactly what we're doing, is working towards how you can find your real self. And if your real self wants to share, then that's what you could find. And I found the same thing. And, I'd be delighted to share with you how I've been weird and shy in my own, bizarre life, and how I got to here and where I am. But yeah, Rachel, intuition, imagination, magic is first. Humans are living backwards. It's the mind that blocks and stops us from making what we want to make real, in my opinion.
You weirdo. Bloody hell. Yeah, well, this is, and this is, I guess, where we get down to semantics and definitions, is what is the mind? What is the brain? I see the brain, the organ, the physical organ is just a receiving center, right? It's something we use to tune in to different information. And then the mind is the working, right? I don't think the mind is contained to the body. But yeah, no, I would agree that, definitely with myself, most of the things that I want, that I imagine, that they just sort of tend to pop into my head, especially when I'm talking. Like, nothing's ever scripted, and all these ideas just kind of flow out, and I'm like, oh, that was pretty interesting. Where did and I don't even know where it came from, right? So I think excuse me, one of the big things is to be open, is to be able to tune into different things. And this is what's been closed down in us, is this, you can't do it because, and this is why they tell us everything's physical. Oh, you want to change the world, or oh, you want to start an animal sanctuary, or you want to be a lion tamer, or you want, how are you going to do that? Oh, you're going to fail. So many people have tried it and failed before. What makes you special? All this crap that is completely reverse to the truth. I mean, the truth is, if you speak to someone who is living, their best life and has achieved all these things, they'll tell you it had nothing to do with moving boxes in the outside world around.
Hey, yes. Cambell, is there a link to the course? Someone asked about it in the video.
Yes, below there is a link to the course. Click on that. It'll give you a rundown on what's going on, and if you want to join, you can join up. It'll put you on an email list, and yes, come and join us. 10 weeks, and discover what is your true heart's desire. Because again, right, this game called life is because we've had so much stuff heaped on us, all these other opinions, and that's all information is. In my opinion, like 95% plus, it's just opinion stacked on opinion. Right? People quoting a book, that's just someone else's opinion. Like all this factual stuff, like how factual is it really? And so this is what we've got to get off us. It's a job of getting rid of the crap rather than finding more outside of you. It's finding more inside of you of who you are. So, what is it that everyone wants?
So let's look at some of the things we're going to look at, and some of the questions I'll ask people now is, for true heart's desires, maybe honest, deep secrets, things you think are missing from your life. What does your path home look like to you? Missing experiences, something you've always wanted, but you can't quite put even the words to, but something you've never known you always wanted is how I'll put that. And honest love beyond the physical, let's say, or romantic, which can be part of it. And it's not that nature has all the answers, although it does, Kyle. We are nature. I think that's the thing. We've separated ourselves from everything. I mean, even if you're sitting in a concrete box, then you're that bit of nature sitting in the concrete box that can do or not do whatever it needs to do in that moment to create what it wants to create. I mean, we've all seen those flowers that are breaking through the concrete on the sidewalk. I know I have, or breaking through the cement. You go, how did they do that? I mean, I've had little flowers growing in the middle of nothing, like literally in my house, in my genkan, which is the entrance to a Japanese house, it's called. We have some steps, right? And there's no sun there, maybe a little window, and for 2 or 3 months there was a little plant growing from the dust, or maybe some of the mud that we got tracked in, growing out of our stairs, like literally growing and trying to grow outside. And I watched this thing for 2 months, and I started giving it some water, and then it died and came back and died and came back for 4 months. So, how did that happen? Who knows? But, like you said, it was, conspiracy. God lives, Satan lives. It's all you. That voice in your head is just something you can listen to or not. If you want to give it a personage, that's fine. You can call it what you want. You can call it, Billy the bad boy instead of Satan if you like. But, what you bring into this world, and you're finding your path and your true heart's desire, I'm going to tie that back into what Cambell said, is like you get an inspiration, it hits your guts, it hits your head, it hits your womb, doesn't really matter. And what you do after that is where you exist in life, right? Because you are between that idea and that inspiration and making it real. And the middle point is you. That's why Cambell says, and we've said, it's all your fault. What you do with that inspiration is up to you. And what's stopping you or not stopping you is what you can look at next to grow into more of who you want to be or don't want to be.
Yeah. Milwana, is that how I say that? Says, I've always wanted to have to do nothing. Now I'm here. I only do what I want. Is that wrong? No, I mean, you should do exactly what you want. I'm not sure if doing nothing is very productive, to the world. I mean, if we all want a better place and a better life and a better world, then we do have to do something. But as long as it's your idea, then that's good. You don't have to do anything. I mean, look around the world, right? Clearly, people don't have to do anything. A lot of them just sit on the couch, watch Netflix and eat Cheetos, right? But I mean, if we're trying to actually make a better world, which is, I hear this talk a lot, this is the problem, we need to fix this. Well, then you do need to do something. To me, it takes away your right to complain if you're not doing anything about it. And you don't have to, whatever you want to do is okay. It doesn't have to be starting a YouTube channel, writing a book, or being, the front person. There's a lot of work that goes on in the background, to get a lot of stuff out. And, whatever you want to do is what you should do. But basically, I think the point is you need to understand, or at least believe, that you can do whatever it is, whatever this inspiration is. If it seems too big, well, I mean, almost better, right? Like just go for it. You can't achieve big dreams unless you have big dreams. And
Speaking, sorry.
You go.
Speaking of big dreams, I just want to answer Kyle. It's so funny you should say we should all get together in the physical and have a festival, because this summer, Cambell and I have been discussing, and I've been discussing with some other people I've worked with for 15 years, we are having a Freedom Now festival. It's in the works. It's in the play. It's going to probably be in North America, somewhere in Canada or the US, probably North US, South Canada, that sort of way. But yes, so stay in touch. I've already started building a page for it called Freedom Now Festival. I've owned the .com for years. I haven't known what to do with it, but we should celebrate. We should get together. We should share. I want to do a weekend one, 3 days. There might be a daily one too. So Kyle, get in touch with us, full4power@gmail.com. Give us some feedback. Give us some suggestions. I'm delighted to see how you can participate with us in it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of that's really the crux of everything that's been done for the last 5 years, is just trying to get people together, right? Trying to share information, get a place where we can actually be ourselves, or we can talk to like-minded people, all this kind of stuff, and share ideas. Because to me, that's how we go forward. Verity's getting in a lot of trouble for a vivid imagination. Yes, hello. That was me. It still is. Live by the ocean. Do it. I would say don't plan to make that change. I would say make the change. Make the change in your mind. And the thing is, the way I look at it is, again, everything's created twice, right? First, we create it in our imagination, or we receive it, or whatever, and then we bring it into the outside world so we can interact with it. So, um, whatever it is that you want, create that scene in your mind. And because time doesn't exist, there's only now. Once you've created it, it exists, right? It exists. And if it exists, then it has to happen, right? Because it's already happened. So that's kind of the way I look at it, is when I get things, nothing's out in the future. It's always here. And as soon as I create it, well, it's done. And all I really need to do is go through a bit of, what we perceive as time, which is really me getting my energy, my frequency to match my dream, to match my creation. And once that happens, you'll interact with it. And, I've done this many times, and to me that works. So, when we're creating dreams, create them as now, because now is all that exists. There's nothing in the future. There's nothing, if you want something, you haven't got it. If you chase something, it runs away. But if it's here now, then it's yours. And all you've got to do is, a bit of work on your frequency to match it. And there you go. Obviously some people have to do more work than others, but to me, this is how creation works. So whatever it is you want, guys, just believe it and do it.
It's like, also, David, saying too expensive to live by the ocean is a limitation and a belief. If you grab a tent, like I've lived in a driftwood overnight in the ocean in BC before, walking around, and someone had built a cave out of driftwood and abandoned it a long time ago. And I remember spending a couple of nights there in a van we had by the ocean, so I lived by the ocean for a month or two. It's the idea we have of what it looks like that stops us from making things real. I mean, 2 months ago, I said, it's time for the Freedom Now Festival. I had no idea how it was going to happen. I didn't have anything, didn't have any sponsors. I didn't have any money. I didn't have a place where it was going to go. I just had a strong feeling it was time to make it real. And then Cambell said, good idea. I met a guy in the United States that offered me some land. There's an old friend that said he's going to find some sponsors suddenly. Kyle mentioned that we should have something like that. And then here he is. It's just a matter of, when you get an intuition or an imagination to do something, how it happens is almost irrelevant. The mechanics of it are useless to consider almost even before you start doing them, because you never know, David, as you walk towards the ocean or drive towards the ocean. I found a house. Someone has said, I have an empty house. You can use it for, a few months if you want to. It's really up to you, right? And I had no idea how this was going to come, other than I had decided I'm going to make a change and move from where I am. I've packed my bags from where we are here, and I've decided I'm going without knowing where I'm going. And it's always that fear, right? You got to take a chance for things to be new, as Cambell has said. Things have to be new. And if it's new, if you consider this pragmatically, if it's authentically new for you, you don't know how to make it because you've never made it before. You don't know how to get there because you've never got there before. So you can't know, sitting on your bum, how to get where you haven't never been yet. But you can decide to go towards it and just be ready for whatever comes up, whatever challenges face you. And that's how you can find your path home, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing about that is, it's not expensive if you have $100 million. It's all perspective, and money. I know money. People have issues with money, guys. Money's just energy. It's all it is. Just like everything else in this realm, it's just money. The only difference is our perspective on it. Some people believe money is easy to get. It just comes to me easily. Whatever I touch turns to gold. And that generally happens for them. Other people think, oh my God, it's a control system. I hate it. It's so hard. It runs away from me. And that's what they get. To me, it's all a belief. If you want something and it's going to cost you, cost a lot of money in the economy, well, you can make that. But we tend to talk ourselves out of things. Oh, that's too big a dream. It's too much money. This is what it really comes down to. Am I worth it? Do I believe that I'm that valuable? And of course you are, but society has beaten that out of us, right? You're not good enough. You're not good enough. How dare you? Why do you think you're better than other people? All this crap. So the most important thing I would say is your beliefs and what you believe is possible. And really, as human creating machines, anything is possible. The truth is we're creating stuff every day, constantly. But for most people, they're creating things that they don't want. But it takes the same amount of energy to create what you want as it does to create what you don't want. So it's just a shift in thinking. Ben
Or
says, how do
creating.
we raise our frequencies? You get aligned with who you are. You change your thoughts. Don't get distracted. Get honed in, right? If you can focus, on a couple of things every day rather than 1,500, right? Like news coming in here and social media here and this opinion, that opinion. Oh, I remember this. My dad said this. Oh, my teacher told me I was useless. Forget all that crap. Just focus on what you want and go towards it. It says in the Bible, and of course people are going to jump up and down it, but in the Bible it says be one-eyed, right? And that doesn't mean be Illuminumis up in the sky. Oh my God, there's an eye on the dollar bill. It means be focused on what you want. Don't let other people come into your mind and start distracting you. Don't let other people tell you that, you can't do it. When someone tells you you can't do something, what they're actually saying is they don't believe they could do it. It's got nothing to do with you at all. But we have the choice whether to take that on or not. So really the way to raise your vibration is to become more of who you are, focus more on what you want and walk in that direction. To me, it's that simple. It's really just getting rid of the chatter.
And maybe see yourself as energy first and physical second, and to flow with what you feel like creating, and to see, like, you can't raise your frequency without raising your frequency, right? So it's like hitting a note, like you said, a note on a currency and a wave, and you just flow with it, and you'll have an experience. And every time you, as Cambell said, you get rid of the chatter and go towards what you would like, and you see some success. Like my frequency went up when Kyle asked about the Freedom Now Festival just now. I went, oh my goodness, something I imagined is coming real, and more people want to see that. And so by aligning myself with my own imagination, I've raised my frequency. And Mr. Mind the Gap or Mrs. Mind the Gap, how are your words, putting them against the beat of life? Well, it's fantastic. I just hear the music. I hear the music in the beat of life. Words are just words. It's just a sound that comes out of your mouth. It's the actions. It's really the actions that matter. So, to me, how are my words against the beat of life? Well, I make songs. I make poetry. That's what I do with my words against the beat of life. That would be my answer.
The beat of life is not your beat of life. That's the outside chatter and minutia, right? You don't have to believe that. One story is I turned up to Florida last year and I didn't know what was going on. I was in a new country. I turned up to this massive, massive airport. You got to catch a train in that airport from your bridge. You get on a train and it takes you to go and get your luggage. It's massive. But I'd never been to America. I was sitting there and I rang up Lorenzo. I'm like, I'm here. What happens? And he's like, we're sending a car for you. And the next morning, this car turns up and drives me like 3 or 4 hours. And I end up on this property that was just amazing. I had my own little house, like little, self-contained place. And it was like, this place was just ridiculously amazing. Are you saying you can't hear me, or
no? I'm saying that's where I first met Cambell face to face.
Yeah, that's where
I was waiting for him when he drove up.
Yeah, that's where we first met in person, and I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew that it was going to be good. I was just in the moment, right? Oh yeah, let's see what happens. It's going to be great, and it was amazing people, amazing property. Like it was crazy, and like 12 hours out earlier, I'd had no idea what was going on, but my energy, my frequency was, awesome. I'm here. This is going to be great. This is going to be amazing. And that's what happened. And this has happened to me so many times. People, the outside chatter, so many times have told me, don't go traveling. They're going to do another lockdown. Don't go traveling. Planes are falling out of the sky. This will happen. That'll happen. And, every time my response to that has been, watch me. I'm doing it anyway. I don't listen to the outside world and what the outside world wants from me. I don't care. Look around. You know, the majority of the outside world doesn't want you to be free, doesn't want you to create. So why would you listen to it? You know, listen to yourself, write down what you want, dream your own dreams, put pictures up around your house if you want to, say affirmations, whatever it is, be focused on what you want, because if you're not, you got no chance of it coming true. But if you are, then you will start to see in your life things start to manifest and be created, and you'll understand that it's really just from what you're thinking. Because this is everything, like Lorenzo said, if you start by looking at things as everything is frequency, which it is in energy, that's what I believe, then it's a different way of looking at things. You then don't have to move around things in the outside world, right? You don't have to make deals. You don't have to do whatever in the outside world. And you don't have to look at it like, I want a house on the beach, so I need $1 million. So I need to earn $1 million. You start to understand that $1 million or that house or whatever can come from anywhere. You don't have to go out and earn it. Like Lorenzo said, maybe, you know, someone will turn up and they'll be like, I've got a house on the beach and I'm going away for 4 months. Do you want to live there? And it costs you nothing, because this has happened to me many, many times, these types of situations. As long as we look at the world as physical and we need to move physical things around to get things in the outside world, then I think we've lost. We've got to come back to realizing it's all energy that's creating this. Yes, Lorenzo.
You have to realize, in order to succeed, there's always a chance you're going to fail. I mean, they come hand in hand in any new challenge. So if you're afraid that you're going to fail, so you don't do something, then you also cannot succeed. And I've got a strong feeling, after watching this world for the last 30, 40, 50 years, having been raised, you know, with lawyers in the family and watching rich bankers in Toronto, where I'm from, and I've hung out in various homes around the Bridle Path. If anyone knows Toronto, it's where those billion-dollar homes are right now. I don't think that the people that control the monetary system or move the energy around the world actually use money or Bitcoin or any of those things. I have a strong feeling that they understand the nature of energy, as Cambell said, and they're sharing energetic truths with each other. They're sharing energetic agreements. They're sharing handshakes of resources that are mobilized in huge ways we can barely fathom. If you even understand what $1 billion really is, you know, you would have to spend $1,000 a day for the next, you know, longer than you're alive. Imagine that, like you spend $1,000 a day, and most people can't even imagine that, for longer than you're alive. I think you have to spend $1,000 a day for 3 years to get to $1 million. And, you know, and $1 billion is what, 100 million or 1,000 million? I'm not even sure. It's a lot of millions. And I'm talking US dollars. So
$1 million, yeah, $1 million.
I think it's a million or
$1
something like
million,
that.
yeah, because you have 100 million and half a billion, like
So
500
to spend
million.
$1 billion, then you'd have to spend $1 million a day for 3 years. Think about that. $1 million a day for 3 years. You by yourself going out shopping with your pockets stuffed with cash, or your wallet. Either way, it's a lot of money. Yeah,
That's
yeah. It's like
million. That's 1,000 million. Yeah, but I mean, or is it 500? Maybe that is $1 million.
even if it's 100, even if it's
Probably
100,000 a day,
I think
and
it's
to get to $1
1,000
billion.
million.
Let's say you
Yeah,
spend 100,000. Like, think about it, $100,000 a day just for you to get to that $1 billion, and the government and these people and these other societal systems are spending billions and trillions and throwing it around like it's nothing, because it really is nothing. Okay, so 1,000 million is $1 billion. Thank you, Luminal Mind.
Yeah.
So
Thank
literally,
you.
you have to spend, you know, what is 1,000 is 10,000. So literally, you have to spend $100,000 a day for 3 years to get to $1 billion. Wow. And there are people that say, well, we just gave 50 million to this and 30 million to this and 200 million to that, but we don't have 5 cents for your ham sandwich. Sorry, get back to work. You know, so if you put it into perspective, you realize the people that play in the world of energy and currency and make those huge houses and buy countries and yachts and all these things, they are not playing in the same monetary system that they insist, I must say, or inculcate through schooling that we have to play in. And that's what Cambell is sharing. And basically I was sharing. So if you get out of that monetary system and you start playing in the energy, the currency system, then you can make your dreams come true.
Yeah, I mean, I heard once that if $1 million in $100 bills stacked on top of each other is around 1 meter high, and $1 billion is like a 20-story building. So it's a big difference. But this is the thing: if that's the truth, then how are these people doing this, they're clearly not trading their time for money, right? Like
No.
you can't do that. You've only got so much time. So what are they doing? When Lorenzo was speaking, it made me think of Mr. Musk, right? The richest man in the world. Now, if you sort of look at him and what he's done, and dissect his businesses, it's like how how is he the richest man in the world? That doesn't make any sense at all. But they put it out there in ideas. They start spreading it. They get people to believe it. And guess what? For all intensive purposes, he's the richest man in the world. Clearly, he's not. But this is the thing. It's all thought. If you can't believe it, you can't conceive it, right? You can't give birth to ideas that you don't believe in. And here's that word belief. There's a lot of conjecture about this word, but I believe that if it's your belief, it's good. But if it's a belief that's been given to you from the outside world, then that's not good, right? Because that's you creating someone else's dream. And in the end, this is what we do. This is the choice. We either are building our own dreams and our own lives, or we're building someone else's. If you don't take control of your life, someone else is going to take control for you. They're out there waiting. And this is how the money system, how they're getting all the money is it's the biggest pyramid scheme out there. You hear all this thing, pyramid scheme. Name me a pyramid scheme, and no one can name one. I can. It's called a job, right? The people on the bottom do all the work, and all the money goes up to the top. All these billionaires, right? I mean, that's a scam because they're getting us to put all our energy into making their dreams come true, into making them wealthy. But we don't have to. We can make a different choice. We don't have to believe, oh my God, you need a job because, this is getting more expensive. And what about healthcare? What if this happens? I mean, I've never had insurance because I don't expect anything bad to happen. It's interesting that people who get sick all the time. It's always the same people. People who get their house broken into or their car, it tends to happen more than once because they expect it, which means they're creating it. It's really that simple. Everything we do is our fault, right? It's all your fault, guys.
So something I believed also, so to speak, and I learned a while ago, maybe people can practice this for finding their path home. There seems to be 3 steps for changing what you want to change in your life. First, you hope something is true, then you believe it's true, but finally you know it's true. So I would say even beyond belief, when you get to a knowing, which is 100%, and to me, that's what the elites use, that's what these other people use, that's what you can use to find your path home. You really have to see how 99% of you can't cross the water. You're not going to leave your toes behind or your foot behind on the other shore. You have to find a way for 100% of you to cross to a new idea, a new way to be alive, to find your path home. You have to get even, I would feel, beyond your belief to a knowing that will take you somewhere else through experience, which would be the only way that you could probably and possibly do that, by taking the chances you need to take. And as Cambell said, if you look around and maybe Musk isn't even a real person. I've heard he's an AI guy. He doesn't look so real to me, honestly. When I've seen him in his face and his eyes and his ears, I think the elites just play games with us. I think it's all a movie. It's all theater. It's all a game. When you get to see and understand that, that's their secret, Mr. Mind the Gap. They don't play by the same rules we play. They give us these rules. That's why they put you in school, and the rich people go to different schools because they're learning different rules on what life is and how it is than they teach the unwashed masses, as they say. So I would say unlearn everything you've learned. Get back to when you were a little one. That's what we're going to do on the course. I'll get back to talking about our course. Find your real self. Finding your real self is not us telling you who you are either. It's not us telling you how to do or what to do. It's literally, as Cambell has said many times, an uncovering of the statue, getting back to who you were when you were maybe 1, 3 months old, whatever, maybe even before you came here, and figuring out for yourself who you really are, that you've forgotten or given away or allowed to be deluded or deluded delusions. It's interesting that it's a very, very similar word, delusions, deluded, meaning you've diluted your energy. And so, yeah. And so maybe you're missing yourself, I would say, your real self. And that is also why, and then I'll leave this, back to Cambell. He's always said it's your fault, and it's not a bad way to see things, because your life, of course, is your fault and your responsibility, because if you don't claim 100% of it, You can't change 100% of it.
Mm. Yes, good point. Be the change you want to see. These idioms that people run around and repeat, but how many people stop and think about what they're saying? What does that mean? It means you have to live the life. You have to become the person that can be, a standout and show other people the way. And what is their secret? That they've got us believing that there's a secret.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Like seriously, like these are all just thoughts that are given to us, and we don't have to accept these thoughts just because they're coming in, right? And this is another good saying, another good thing to live by. This is from Jim Rohn: is stand every day guarding the door to your mind. Don't just let anything go in. Don't sit in front of a screen and let shit go in. Don't let people's opinions actually go in. Like if they're not something you want inside you, bounce them off. Don't even take them in, because it's got nothing to do with your life and what you want. It's just someone else's opinion. Doesn't mean anything, right? It's just what they want to do. And, if it's good, great, you can take it in. But if it's got nothing to do with you guys, like clean your mind out. The less, different opinions from other people are in your mind, the more that you can think of yourself, the more you can have your true thoughts. And this is the thing. This is why we need at least 3 points of view, right, to make a decision. Like with the election, right? Big election just happened. Everyone, you have a choice. You have a choice, either red or blue. That's not a choice, guys. That's not a choice. All right, because you can't say, well, I want yellow. It doesn't exist. So you need at least 3 points of view. The more, the better. And then, think about them, wonder about them, roll them around in your head and come up with your own perspective, because that's what the world needs. The reason the world's getting, grayer and more the same everywhere is because people's thoughts are becoming more the same. And so our creative energy is becoming honed and focused on what those people who wish to rule us want. Like this, and this is the biggest scam, is they've got us believing that they're right and that there's all these things, and that, that if we don't do this, then, God will punish us, or the law will punish us, or, oh my God, there's an asteroid coming from outer space to wipe us out. Be in fear, be in fear. There's all these cooties floating around trying to kill you. Only if you believe it, man. I never wore a mask. I had to go on a plane once and I put it on my chin, and that was it. Sat down, took it up. Like, I did not comply at all. Had nothing to do with me. And guess what? I never got sick. Interesting that, isn't it? Because it's like they're calling it now. It's the mind virus, right? So this is just an opinion. Obviously, YouTube, don't take this video down. Allegedly. But, we are creating everything. And the more that we let their thoughts, the outsiders, into our mind and we believe them, that's when we start creating things that we don't want, right? And negative or positive. If we get up every morning, we're like, this job sucks. I hate this job. That's not what our mind's hearing. Our mind's just hearing this job, work, right? You've got to think of a different thought. Go towards what you do want, not away from what you don't want.
Maybe that's the secret. You are the secret. That's what I found. Maybe the secret is you have everything you need. You always have. You don't have to ask. The secret or the law of attraction, it was all a lot of BS in my humble opinion, because it all told you the bottom of all of it was you need something from the outside. Even voting, you need someone to help you. You need someone to change the rules. You need someone to lower your taxes. Even in some ways, relationships are a bit, the way they're taught to us are not exactly authentic, because then you need someone to make you happy. You need someone to fill your holes, right? You need someone to find love. You need someone to help with this. And it's nice to have the help. It's nice to have the love. It's nice to have nice rules. Don't get me wrong. It's nice to have great people not doing bad things, but also it doesn't really matter, right? Because for you in your life, you can figure it out by deciding how you need to create what you need to create, by understanding who you really are. And that's one of the things Cambell and I've done in one of our old videos. Who are you really? And part of it, I would think, non-negotiable, and I've mentioned this before, is to do a recapitulation, to look at your entire life. And I don't mean the good parts or the bad parts or the sweet parts or the sexy parts, but all of it. Look all the way back so that you can understand what's worked for you and what hasn't worked for you in your own opinion. So no one has to tell you what to do or what works or what doesn't work. You can figure out for yourself, through yourself and with yourself, to love yourself and to know yourself. And then that way, you don't fall prey to what comes in your mind. Because if the mind says you're bad and you figured out you're not, it goes away. Or you're fat and you're not, or you're poor and you're not, or you can't have laughter and love, but you've decided you can.
Mm. I'm just sort of going through a few of the comments here, and if they took the fluoride out of the water, that would be the most. Well, not all water has fluoride. We have the choice to go and get our own water, to catch rainwater, to buy good water, fluoride-free water. Like, that's focusing on what other people are doing, and to me, just the thought of, oh my God, this water has fluoride in it, it's bad for me, that's worse for our health than the actual fluoride. It's the belief system behind it. And there was some mention of Bitcoin before. Look, I know a lot of people who have made a lot of money and have had a good lifestyle and been able to achieve a lot because of Bitcoin. Does that mean Bitcoin's the savior? No, there is no savior. For them, it worked. Doesn't mean it's going to work for you. I know other people who have made money in other ways. I know people who are, right into gold and silver. I know people who just kind of float around and things just come to them and they don't end up paying for much. It's just, we've got to work out our own path, and your own path is inside. It's not outside. So we can't, try and follow other people's paths and expect to get their results, because we're not them. Like, we're not them. If you have a plan, I wouldn't tell anyone unless it's, someone who's close who will support you, your partner or something. But yeah, most of the world are going to laugh at you and tell you can't do it. And why put yourself up for that scrutiny? Why put yourself in a position where you're going to be barraged with all this negative energy? You don't have to tell anyone your dream. It's much better to do it and say, look what I've done, rather than to say, I'm going to do this, because that doesn't really mean anything.
I would say the opposite. A lot of those sayings, I think, have been put in us to stop us from growing. I think if you really understood who spirit is, you really understood what you call God, you really understand the all of everything, which is probably more than a man and a woman, but everything together, it doesn't laugh, it helps you. See, I would say that is one of the challenges that stops you from allowing your imagination to get out. Tell a person your plan, maybe you'll get their bad ideas, their silliness, their limitations slapped on you for sure. That can happen. But if you tell the all of everything your plan, I think the all of everything is going to help you. So I would disagree with that. Maybe start laughing because it's going to laugh to why it took you so long to share your plan. Maybe God's going to say, what took you 30 years to tell me this is what you want, the house by the sea? Here, let me show you how to do that. And then, as Cambell said, it could happen with a free house. It could happen with a tent. Who knows? But I would say God loves to hear your plan. And hello, Suki Suki. Nice to see you here as well.
Yeah. No, I agree that we definitely need to speak it. I just don't think there need to be other people around to hear it. You can speak it to a mirror, put it out there. But I mean, this is the thing. My path isn't Lorenzo's path. His path's not my path. Like, we don't have to agree. And that's all just based on our past and what happens when we go and tell people plans. I'd rather just do them and go, look what I did. There you go. Because then people can't argue with me. People love to argue with me, and I can't be bothered. Like, what is an argument? What a stupid thing. I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. And all that means is believe what I believe and make me feel like I'm right. It's all ego. It doesn't. Conversations are so much better than arguments, where you can actually converse and not judge people and get, new thoughts and new epiphanies coming through. Thank you for all the comments too.
Are we supposed to suffer? No, no. I don't think things are getting worse or better. I would say if you look at every history, every people, every time everybody says when they get to a certain age, things are worse than they used to be, or things are more horrible right now, or the end is nigh. I mean, that's been happening probably for thousands of years. So no, I don't think you're supposed to or not supposed to suffer. I think that in some ways is a trick question, because what you're supposed to do, in our humble opinion, is find your path home, whatever that is. And if you're suffering, find out for yourself even what suffering means. I mean, that's the challenge with definitions of words. What for some people, suffering, for other people, it might be it's helping you get strong, right? What the weapons that God wants to use, what is forged in fire and heat, and and sharpened. So through the challenges, maybe through that suffering, you'll become a stronger person. You'll become a better person. So are you supposed to? Really depends the situation, what you mean by suffering, what you're doing, what you're not doing, why you're there, and why you feel you're suffering. And maybe then, if you come to all those answers for yourself, you can figure out how to move beyond.
I'm not suffering, and I don't see anything as suffering. I don't see anything as bad things happening to me. They're just happenings. Things just happen. And, the worst things that have ever happened to me, it doesn't take me long to sit and think that other people have had it much worse. It's not me that the universe is pointing out, going, ha ha ha, here's bad stuff for you. And so it's the way that we look at it. I'm definitely not suffering. I see everything as a challenge, as something that I can use to grow and go forward with. I think suffering is staying still, going around in a circle and asking yourself constantly, why do I keep ending up at this point? I keep trying to do something and it's not working. I keep trying to do this and it's not working. Oh, and I think that's all comes down to whose belief system are you using? Is it from the outside of you or the inside of you? This is the question.
Of course, you can teach new tricks, Mister. Whoever
Yeah,
said you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's the biggest pile of poop I've heard all day. If you'll pardon my opinion, I'm an older dog, and I learn new tricks every minute, every
and
second.
if you believe that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and you see yourself as an old dog, well, it's you that's telling yourself you can't learn anything.
Then
why would you? How would anyone else know if you can or cannot learn a new trick? How would they even know that? It's clearly based on nothing but some random thought that's gone through their head, which is really based on someone else's opinion outside of them. It's bullshit, and it's just an excuse. And people with excuses love to congregate, right? If you get people around you that agree, yes, oh, it's so hard, well, then, your excuse is valid, right? You don't have to do much. And if we're waiting for Monsanto and Bayer or any company or any organization or corporation, right, to change, then again, we're giving power away, because during that whole thing, a lot of people just decided not to have that, right? And that's the thing. It comes down to choice. This is the thing. So the water most consumed is dead. Well, again, if that's the water you're consuming, if you're finding spring water, it's not. And this is the whole crux, guys. You don't have to believe the outside world. You've got choice. You can do something different. Most things we don't know for sure, but we do know that love conquers all. Oh, there you go. We fat shung. I agree. I mean, which love is it? Is it self-love or is it external love? Is it loving yourself that changes the world, or is it loving other people outside of you? I mean, I would say that you can't truly love anything outside of you unless you love yourself. I mean, obviously people with, children and things, that's, a little bit different, but in the bigger scheme of things, again, we hear all these people, it's all light and love, just be the light, just be the love. But I look at these people and I watch them and they don't seem to achieve much, and they don't seem to be that happy when they're alone because they don't love themselves. I don't know, but laughing at it works. I totally agree, Three Fingers. Totally. And this is the thing, guys. It's just life.
It is just life.
It's just life. No one gets out of here alive. Sorry.
Well, and if you're living your dead water, move towards where the water isn't dead. Right? There's other samples. It's like, if you don't like the circumstances in your life, change the circumstances in your life. And life and afterlife, I have a different opinion maybe about getting out of here alive or not alive. You maybe you go back to where you came from. Maybe you get to keep what you remembered or not. It really, there's so many different ideals about things, but like dog eat dog world is another one. Can't teach a dog new tricks. Time is money. I think these are all memes that have been shoved into us from the time we were little to disallow us from gaining the true power and who and what and why and what we can be. If there's something in your life you don't like, you don't have to use Monsanto stuff. You don't have to take Bayer's products. Bayer, if they're putting it in the water, find another system. I've lived through all the challenges everyone here has lived through. An older dog. I've probably smelled Monsanto. I'm sure I've had lots of Florida in my life. They put it in the water in Canada. I've heard all the time. It doesn't really matter. In the end, I'm figuring my way away and away and away and up and over this by changing my perspective and my energy and my idea, and mostly by allowing my imagination to take full control of my life through my actions and my directions and what I feel like creating.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I used to spend a lot of time contemplating like free thought, what was I calling it? But basically, a thought that no one else has had before. Like how many of your thoughts are your thoughts? Like yours that have come from you or been relayed to you or whatever. Like seriously, think about it, because what I'm seeing here in the chat is a lot of people are just regurgitating thoughts that have come into them.
Mm.
Here's a clue: this is a predator-prey construct. If you believe it,
It can be. I think even if it is, like maybe you don't need to eat, right? I mean, maybe you don't need, like Campbell talked about diet and dying and things like that. Maybe there was a time when humans didn't eat. I feel it is a predatorial dream that we're living in, but you don't have to participate as a
yeah,
predator or prey. You can take yourself, out of it. It's like today feels. There's an example of what Campbell said. What Avira said, today feels very dense and heavy, but I'm feeling the opposite in this full moon energy. I'm feeling light and amazing and creative and wonderful. And I went out, uh, enjoying the moon when I went for a walk this morning. So again, I'm sitting here and people are sitting there, and you're having your heavy feeling. Maybe you could see why you are having a very heavy, dense, cloudy day, and someone else is having, like, I'm in the land of the rising sun. It's a sunny day. You can see the light in my eyes. Being in Asia right here, to me, it's beautiful. In my short shirts, 22 degrees in the middle of November, which is strange. But for me, it's been the opposite. It's lovely, warm, beautiful, creative. And Shug the whatever, the guy with the strange rat-like avatar. I've had some wonderful hugs in my life, being a male, some really fantastic ones. So I say it's possible to go out there and get a real hug and to enjoy something authentic if that is really your true heart's desire.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the world and the world that they are trying to construct, right, with all the education and all this kind of stuff, then sure, it's predator prey. But again, only if you're in that. I believe, like Lorenzo, that you don't have to be a part of that. And the thing is, if you're focused on that and you believe that's what it is, well, that's what it is. Like I don't interact with the government. I don't play any of their stupid games. I don't have a 9 to 5. I don't. I reject all that stuff. It's got nothing to do with me. It's just got nothing to do with me. What's got to do with me is my life and what I want and my dreams and my aspirations and what I'm working towards. Like I don't let that other stuff come into it at all, because ultimately it's all energy to me, and we have to accept things, right? We have to comply. Once we comply, and it's like, oh yes, well, the government's there and they're just taxing us out of existence, and we have to do this and we have to do that. Well, that's when you have to do it. But have you ever tried the other way and thinking, well, this is an energy it's got nothing to do with me? These idiots can stand up there and shout all day, but they don't own me. Like, show me my wet signature where I agreed to this, right? Show me, where anything, right? Show me where you've got any control over me, system. Like, you don't. We have to accept it, and we have to agree that they are controlling us, which is why I don't like all this talk about it's a prison planet. Well, if you want it to be, if that's the construction and the imagination you want to build, then you can build that, and that is all you will see. I mentioned this last week. We have this thing in our mind or our brain, the reticular activating system, which points out to us it's basically its job is to make us right. So if we believe the world is a prison planet and it's crap, it's going to point out all that kind of stuff that goes along and makes that true for us. So people who think it's a prison planet, that's all they see. But if you believe it's not and it's freedom, you can walk down the same street next to someone who believes it's a prison, and you'll see something completely different.
Yeah, as an example, Xenotron, look how quickly the world changed with the lockdowns. Yeah, some people it got much worse. I got much stronger. I got much freer. I got much more liberated and free and flowing in my energy. So for me, over the last 4 years, the world did change. I took what they said and said it's time for a reset. It's time for a new life. And I said, sure, but not the one they're telling me is what I need. As Cambell said, I don't want to participate in agreements I had no say in. That's my motto. And it's an old motto from if I didn't participate in an agreement, why would I agree to it? It's nonsense. So a lot of people, yes, went the other way. I mean, I saw a 3-year-old girl in a mask at the grocery store here the other day, and it almost gets me angry. But I really don't know what people need to learn, or why she chose her mother, or why she's buying candy with a little mask on and getting in the way when I'm shopping by myself here in Japan the other day. But the bottom line is, with the planetary reset or the reset, I said, sure, I took their energy, used it against them, let's say, and plugged myself in a whole new direction where I took my own reset and let that live towards something that I wanted to experience and see. Like I said, you have no power over me. They don't if you don't let them. It really is. It's your choice.
It's your choice, yeah, and well done. Mind the gap. Sober 5 months, good to know. Good work. And this is the thing: if you want something different, you've got to put the work in. So, with a sober mind, we've all been there at some point. New thoughts, right? We'll create new things. If everyone turns off their TV, the world will change. Well, how are you going to go around the world and turn off everyone's TV? Is that something that you can practically do? This would be my question. Because if it's not, why are you putting any energy into that at all? It's something you can't do. But what you can do is you can turn your own TV off.
Yeah, there you go.
Quite easily. And this is the big thing. If we want to change the world and we believe that we have to change the outside world, they tell us, right, 8 billion people, but who knows, right? Probably at least a couple of billion people out there. Is it practical that you believe you can go and change every other person in the realm apart from yourself? Because seriously, you need to think about this. It's impossible, but it's very, very, very possible to change yourself. And this is why everything's your fault, because you can change you. You can't change other people. If someone comes up to me on the street and says, change, Cambell, change, believe what I believe, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell them to go away in not so many words, right? They're not going to change me. So you can't change anyone else. You can only change you.
So our course, Find the Real Self, is all about that. It's about seeing what you want to do, how you want to do it. There's only space for 20 people, and it's already filling up. So if you do want to join us, the link's below. Viru, we are surrounded and drowned out by normies. I'm surrounded by normies, but I'm not drowned out by them. Right? And if you have too many normies in your life, move away. Find out how you can have less normies in your life if it's bothering you, or use them to get strong. Right? But being drowned out by them sounds like, again, you're a victim of having too many crazy people around you. And sure, it can be annoying at times, but what you do with that and how you move from that and how you grow from that, and maybe to ask yourself why you have so many normies, maybe your inside is too normie and you want to change that, to become a different living example, as Lou Sapphire said. Maybe around those normies, you have to be a living example of being a unnormie, if you like. And Martin, hello, wait till you back. Nice to see you here again. Love to have a chat with you one day. I think we'd have a lot of fun and a lot of interesting to share. Maybe the three of us can
have a
get on
three-way
at some point and figure something out. And and again, good work. I've appreciated lots of what you've shared over the years.
Yes, hello, Martin. Yes. We can definitely talk about doing that. What did I see? Change, stand in your truth. Change the channel in your mindset. Change the program, right? TV programming. But about TV, I'm staying with my parents for a couple of months while I'm in Perth visiting the family. and the TV's on constant, like literally. Mum got up this morning, like 5:30 a.m., walked past the TV, turned it on, and then went and did other stuff. Like it's just on all the time. And I could be like, oh my God, look at this. They're trying to program me bloody normal. Nah. But what's that going to achieve for me? What's the result of that? I hear things. I'm like, oh, that's what they're saying now. Oh, that's what you know. Hearing that for a little bit, you understand why people are going crazy, because they're putting these echo chambers, man, and they only hear the same information over and over. And that's why people, especially in America, right after the election, all these screaming mad people, they're doing that because that's the only information they've received. They've been put in an echo chamber, and they seriously believe that everyone else believes the same as them. And then, so when it doesn't go that way, they literally can't believe it. They lose their minds. But it's the same as being, in whatever, being in Tartaria or being in Flat Earth or Truth or whatever. We're still in echo chambers. We're still, surrounded by the same information, which is the challenge. Obviously, if you like that, then that's good. But we don't want to be. They use this so that eventually they can take control of it, right? They have to control both sides of the narrative. But we don't have to live there. We can
Maybe
choose to
maybe
have a different thought.
maybe Vero, you can see how you wear a mask on the inside of people on the outside wearing masks are really bothering you that much. And I could say it used to bother me too. Like I live in Japan, 25% of the people still wear masks, some for various reasons, whether it's allergy season, the Suki said, or still the viral shenanigans, that's fine. And it used to piss me off until I sat down and I meditated. I took 4 months away from everything, turned off the TV, turned off the computer, stopped doing videos, didn't talk to Cambell, didn't talk to anybody except my wife when she came home, like nobody, to sit down and see for myself, with myself, who I was and how I was still wearing my own masks. So, of course, they're human. They're just humans with masks. Are you a human? Probably you are. All humans have their challenges. So, I would say on the outside, the mask is just showing what you're masking on the inside. And if you dare, as anyone might dare to find out who they really are, down to the core of their being, they might find some wonderful, amazing, beautiful solutions for themselves.
Mm. Um, yeah, I mean, this is the main thing. We can only change ourselves. So worrying about people wearing masks, what are you going to do? Run up and rip their mask off? I mean, you probably don't want the reaction you're going to get if you do that. Like, just understand that people aren't you. Everyone's on a different journey. Everyone's on a different rung of the ladder, right? Just let them go on their journey. Let them be on their journey. Like, this is the thing. If everyone was the same and like you, it would be the most boring place ever. Imagine that. I mean, I know, because I have to I have to work with videos of myself, right? I have to edit videos and listen to myself talking, and that's bad enough. If everyone was me, oh my God, kill me now. This is the thing. Everyone's supposed to be different, and everyone's supposed to have their own point of view. So let them focus on what you can change. Don't focus on things and put your energy into something that you can't change, because that's frustrating, because you can't change it. But you can always change you, right? You can always change you. And so work with what you've got and what you can change. We can complain and complain about the world, and the world should change and rah rah rah. But I've been alive for 52 years, and I've never ever seen one circumstance of someone complaining about something and it changing because of their complaining. Doesn't happen. If anything, it gives it more power because you're still focusing on it. So you can change the world, though. The way to change the world is one person at a time, and you do that by being your best self. Just be yourself. Walk the walk. You don't need to tell anyone. People will notice, right? If you want to go and have an art exhibition and paint 20 pictures, people are going to notice that you're suddenly painting pictures. You don't need to go and tell them, right? When you have an art exhibition, they will understand, oh my God, he's painted or she's painted pictures. We don't need to tell people this stuff, but it's just in the doing that people will see, and they'll go, wow, okay, maybe I can do that too. Maybe, I can do something different. Maybe I can achieve something. Maybe I can get back my dreams and fantasy lands from when I was a child. So be the change you want to see. Like, again, you hear this all the time, but how many people are doing that? Because words are cheap, right? People are what they do, not what they say, right?
Yeah.
If you don't believe me, go listen to a politician.
Even if you are by yourself after you've done all your changes and you're walking alone in the world, so be it. It's the way it
Yeah,
goes. Who cares? Like if you knew you and you do what you need to do for yourself and you're seriously happy with whatever change you feel like making in your life, whatever that is, don't expect anybody to follow. Don't expect anybody to agree. Don't expect anybody even to help you, maybe. Just do what you feel like doing and see what happens. And whatever is in your way, whether I need to keep this relationship or this job or this house or this monetary flow or this way of life, that's what's stopping you. You could say that's what's blocking you. As Cambell and I did a video, the butt's in the way, but I can't. Get the butts out of the way and see how you can move beyond the big butts. Even if your mask is wearing a butt, I guess those are called diapers, but either way, or face diaper, butt diaper. But what I'm trying to say in the long and the short is if you really, really want to do something, just do it and accept the challenges, accept what you may lose, accept what you may gain. You'll find help and love and laughter and maybe real hugs along the way. I have, Cambell has. We both lost lots. We both gained lots. There's more to come and more to do, and we're happy to share that with you.
yeah.
Even rhyme.
Just walk your own path and enjoy doing it. And the more that you understand who you are and what you want, then the more enjoyable it is. Because ultimately, that's why we're down here. It's to change ourselves, to learn and grow ourselves. Because although we want to change the world, can we? We can influence it, but can we actually go out and destroy governments and take down the tax system and redesign the money system? Probably not. But when enough people want that and focus on it, it'll change. So the best thing we can do is influence people. Try and make them think, not by telling them stuff. Ask them questions. Oh, have you heard this? We don't need to go and lecture people and tell them they're wrong, because they're not. They're right for them, not for you, for them. Because that's what it is, guys. It's a big journey. All these people on different journeys, all heading in different directions. And to me, the best thing we can do is get on our journey, work out what the path is and where we're going, and walk it. And then when we come into other travelers, just love them, right? Just try and be an example for them. Don't stop and start lecturing them on how they need to change. Because again, I've never seen any example of that ever changing anything. I've seen protests for everything in my life, but nothing changes. Like, nothing changes because people are telling something outside of them to change instead of telling themselves to change.
Yeah,
So
and I didn't abandon Canada, Vera, either. I just decided it was time to be somewhere else until I decide to be somewhere else. Japan has its challenges. Oh my goodness, you live here long enough, you start to see it's a very sad country in many ways. Wonderful too in many ways. Same to all of them. And I don't really think it's the country that makes the person. I think it's the people that make the country. And we're all here, right? We're all here to be who we are. Canada is totally shit. Whatever, then leave. I did. All countries are probably totally whatever. But Vera, you seem to have, in my opinion, humble opinion, a lot of challenges looking outside of you and being upset. And maybe that's why things aren't changing, right? Is like start to look inside and see how your energy is upset, meaning not settled. And you might start to see how you can settle yourself a little bit. And that can maybe, I used to think Canada was horrible too, just to say, until I realized I just hate it myself. And Canada was reflecting it to me because I was born in Canada, right? And then, and after liking myself again some more, now Canada doesn't bother me, even though I still don't like what politicians do. But keep in mind, the government is not the people, right? Even a society
exactly.
is not the people. Even a family is not, like a person is a person is a person. And I strongly feel we're all here to be who we're supposed to be, to allow the best of ourselves out, to create who we always knew we should be. Maybe that's the only job we have. Maybe it's the only job you can have. Cambell's mentioned it many times. Can't change the billions. You can change the self. And maybe you need a billion changes inside yourself. That's up to you to figure out. I have a course in Love Unlimited myself. I mean, counseling, pardon me. Cambell and I have our course coming up, Your True Heart's Desire. We've done 9 hidden secrets. It's already done. You can access and do this work yourself if you're too shy to come in and talk live. So literally, there's a million ways. Or go to newagora.ca, the website. Cambell shared a lot. I've been sharing. There's over 4,000 articles. I counted yesterday. I can't even believe it. We've been putting stuff up there for 15 years now. So if you want information for changing yourself, there's free, there's detailed work, there's expensive work, there's easy work, there's hard work. There's nothing but help. If you really want to make a change, the only thing in your way is your big butts.
Yep. Don't be like Sir Mix-a-Lot. Don't like big butts. Get rid of your big butt. But yeah, this is the thing, guys. It's all up to you. You get to believe it or not believe it. You get to conceive it or to not. You get to put your focus wherever you want to put it is really the main point here, right? You can focus on what you don't have. You can focus on how you're, kept down and it's a prison planet, or you can focus on, I'm a creator. I'm powerful. I'm here to change at least me, right? And through that, I can change the world to a better place. So it's all up to you. You have choice, and that's it. And so we hope you've enjoyed this. Please give us a like, leave us a comment, share this around if you find it helpful. And you'll find links below in the description if you want to come and join us for a 10-week course, weekly Zooms, where we discuss these topics in a bit more depth and a bit more personalized to the people on there, so that we can sort of look at different things. And it's all just thoughts and opinions. We're not going to tell you to do anything because we know that doesn't work. It's more about finding out who you are and what, action will best, take you on the path that leads to where you want to go. That's really it. So if you'd like to join us, click the link below, check it out. And otherwise, we will be back next Sunday morning for another chat. I can't believe that's an hour 11 already. That went so fast.
We'll be back next Saturday, Friday for another live chat because next Sunday we're starting our course.
Oh, well, there you go.
So our course is starting a week today. We're going to change our lives to Saturday. So the next free live will be Saturday in relation to the course. And then our course is going to start on the Sunday. Probably we're going to tackle imagination first. And if anybody does want to join us, please come in. Please like and subscribe, as Cambell said. If you have any questions or suggestions or want to get on our mailing list to our events that are coming up, don't be shy. We're happy to see you here and happy to help you along as you feel like helping yourself.
Yes, and thanks everyone for being here. Thanks to the mods. Thanks Hippie Shake and everyone else. Chris, love you all, and we'll talk to you on Saturday. Stay awesome. Bye for now.